Hello everyone, I'm Brazen Eagle and thanks for joining me here. So today, I have a story for you that is utterly heartbreaking and realistic. I am often on Reddit, and yes, I know Reddit is quite a cesspool, but regardless, I'm on it all the time. However, this story from the subreddit Relationship Advice is just downright terrible. With that said, let's go over it. So, this is the story. If you might have heard about this, you might not have. It's very, very heartbreaking. So, there's a guy. He's 52 years old who just found out that 4, or at least 4 out of his 5 supposed children are actually not his. Shocker. Within this post, he and his wife met in high school and were married in college. To him, they were the typical high school sweethearts. They never fought, and he has tried to be the best husband he could be. He states that he hasn't been perfect, but he always tries to make things right, try to be the best husband that he can be, because he knows that he'll never be perfect. But, according to his oldest daughter, when she took her ancestry test, she found out that her father is not actually her dad. To confirm, they did another test, and it proved to them that they are not biologically related. After this, he DNA tested his next 3 oldest children, and it was, unfortunately, the same result. None of them were biologically related to him. Between those 4 children out of 5, 3 of those had different fathers. He did not test his youngest child because he wanted to protect her. She was still a teenager, and he will tell her in the future. Even though they found out, the children decided to be completely supportive of the man they called their dad. Now, we get into the most realistic part of the story. When confronting his wife, she doesn't confess anything. She doesn't take it seriously, the accusations, and says that the tests are flawed. All 4 of them. He keeps asking her until she says, "We've been together since high school. Do you seriously not trust me?" It's right over here. My God. Despite, of course, the evidence. And that is the story so far. This relatively short story is completely realistic. It's completely true. There's no point to post this on Relationship Advice unless you actually have a real issue in your relationship, and I would say that this is quite a real issue. This is incredibly red-pilled, and yes, I'm meaning red-pilled as in actual red pill. Even in the face of overwhelming evidence, a woman will not accept that she made a mistake like this, let alone 4 or 5 times. She feels nothing for her husband. She showed no remorse. This man is 52 years old, and they've been together for at least 30 years. Can you imagine living and working for a family that you believe is yours for more than half of your life, to just find out that no one is related to you? She decided to live her life with lies and use this man merely as a wallet. Within the story, he states that if it was only the first child they had that was not his, he would consider looking past it because it was just, so long ago, which it sounds a little cucky if you ask me. Regardless, he later asks Reddit if there is any way to save his marriage. He states that he has been with his wife for almost his entire life and just can't see living without her. He wants to be happy with her. He wants that family that he is not biologically related to. His world literally was just destroyed. He says he doesn't want to leave because of the kids and will consider anything to save the marriage. He just wants to be happy with the family. That's all he wants. He wants to be happy with his supposed family. You, of course, can have your own opinion about this unfaithful woman, but it is of my opinion that this female and female nature should be made an example out of. And because I'm posting this to YouTube and BitChute, both of them, I will just say that a woman like her should disappear publicly, if you catch my drift. But you know what? Society's okay with this. There's no repercussions for her for having multiple affairs and illegitimate children, and basically only serves as an example for what females can get away with. There are no consequences for this, basically, for her. She used this man for his money and showed no remorse when confronted with facts. With the refusal to admit wrongdoing, or even harbor at maybe doing some wrongdoing, it only confirms that she was unfaithful. And she might continue to be unfaithful. We don't know if she is or not. But only in our modern age can we discover female nature. Over the course of history, we never had the capabilities to see with hard evidence the harm that female nature brings. If a man decides to bring a child into this world with his wife or girlfriend, he must have a paternity test. It should be mandated by law that a paternity test is administered as soon as a child is delivered. At least, in my opinion. I would never want to wake up someday in my 50s or even 60s to find out the family I have is not my family. Some would say that this is a one-time event. To those who say this, I say you are completely ignorant. From the dailymail.com or dailymail.com. The take-home tests that the men in the UK have done show that 20 up to 30% of the fathers are not actually biologically related to their children. Go figure, 20 to 30%. And yes, a 20% can also be applied from Briefolt's Law. Thank you very much, Robert Briefolt, for appearing in 3 of my videos so far. At least 3 of them. So, the results speak for themselves. For every man out there, understand that even with the falling fertility rate of the West, it is just not advisable to be married, have children, or interact with a non-familial female. It's just way too dangerous in an era of Me Too and female nature. There's no guarantee that your children will be yours until you take the paternity test. And even then, I advise getting the paternity test because the DNA company will probably sell your information. But, you know, if you want to save the West like me, though, we must acknowledge reality for what it is. Women just cannot be trusted. And there have to be consequences for actions like this. There just have to be if you want a functional society. Some of you will say, burn it down. I want to say, it's going to be burned down regardless. Let's try to do something about it. Regardless, though, with that in mind, thanks for watching, guys. I am Brazen Eagle, and I hope you have a great day.